What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 34. Bet Parks presents Stick to Hockey Live. We are going to talk some World Juniors today, some prospects, some NHL today with Julie Robenhymer, her second appearance on Stick to Hockey Live. She'll join us in just a moment. WJC, it's underway, coming up on Monday, the 26th. And I think Team USA has, do I want to say Latvia is in the game? Is that their first game this year that they play? Let me look real quick. Of course, I don't have that part up. But anyway, we'll get to that. Let me tell you about Bet Parks. It is fantastic. You can bet World Juniors. You can bet hockey, pro hockey, college hockey. You can bet college and pro hoops. You can bet football, college and pro, bowl games, you name it. If it's going on in the world of sport and more, you can get your action in. And the place to do that is with the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. It is fantastic. And check it out. I have one right here. I have a mobile casino and sportsbook app. It's called your phone. So you can take it anywhere. And it is everything you've wanted in a mobile casino and sportsbook. And it travels. Easy to sign up, fun to use, faster to win than ever before. Check out the boosts, same game parlays, live in-game betting, player performances, and tons more. And all Bet Parks users right now, new and existing, can use the promo code JASON750, JASON 750, and that'll get you a risk-free bet up to $750. Again, new and existing users, JASON750. Terms and conditions do apply. So download the Bet Parks app. You do need to be over 21, present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And also, get down there today or over the holiday break. Get down to Conquerville Subaru, Route 202 in Glen Mills. It is a fantastic dealership. It is, I would still call it a new dealership. Check it out, and you can see the certified pre-owned inventory, all the Subaru vehicles, beautiful cars, and do it just in time for the Subaru Share the Love event, which goes on through January 3rd. Now, Subaru's going to donate $250 to every new car sold to one of 5 charities, which you get to pick. Either the ASPCA, Make-A-Wish, Meals on Wheels, Nations Parks, or Conquerville Subaru's hometown charity, which is a great one, Namor's Children's Hospital of Delaware. December, great time to visit the beautiful show, Route 202 Glen Mills. Check out the service department where you get a free car wash with every visit. And check out all the details at ConquervilleSubaru.com. And again, visit that showroom on Route 202 in Glen Mills. And remember, Conquerville cares. All right, let's get to our guest on this episode of Stick to Hockey Live. She joins us right now. She's going to be heading to New Brunswick and Moncton and be all over covering the World Juniors. It is Julie Robenhymer. Julie, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you, Jason?
I'm great. You love this time of year, don't you?
It is my favorite.
Yeah, I
love
knew it.
Christmas. Christmas is amazing. But also the World Junior Championships is my absolute jam.
Yeah, it's such an awesome tournament, and it's weird this time, right? Because you have two that are close together with the one that was delayed last year. So we have a lot of returning players that kind of played just a couple months ago together. I think Team USA is 7, so does Canada have 7 returning players. So that element may make the hockey even better right out of the gate.
Well, there's that too, but also here's another thing to consider. There were players like Shane Wright who opted not to participate in August so that they could prepare for their NHL debuts, careers, et cetera, et cetera. And then you have other players who said, nope, I'm going to the tournament and I'm going to use that as a launching pad to my career. And I just want to say, where's Mason McTavish and where is Shane Wright?
Yep.
Now, Mason got his gold medal. Good for him. Super excited in the NHL, doing his thing. Shane Wright declined, struggled mightily, and now he's back for Hockey Canada. And we'll see what that happens. Another player, although not his fault, is Filip Mešár with Slovakia. So that's an interesting one as well. I think he's going to be super excited and really driven to be successful in this tournament. But there is some it's a weird feeling. We were literally just talking about these players 4 months ago.
Yeah, it's like quick turnaround. Real quick, before we get to the World Juniors, I want to ask you, because you're at the Flyers, you go to Flyers games, Devils games, you are omnipresent in the NHL buildings. I want to ask you a couple questions about the Flyers. They get that loss yesterday. They battle back to get within a goal. They were really dominated in the second period against Toronto. Toronto plays so fast. They are fast and they play fast. And you saw the Flyers just kind of grabbing guys to try and slow them down. That put them in the box 3 times in the second. But what have you seen out of the Flyers this season, and in particular with Torts at the helm?
Well, I think what's so frustrating for John Tortorella in guiding this group is that the effort is there. I truly feel that. Like, they are not playing lazy hockey. They have moments of laziness, that is for sure. And they have moments in which they doubt themselves. Like, obviously, I think it was like, 10 minutes yesterday, and they had one shot on goal. And it was a goal, but
Yeah.
They're not shooting the puck. So that comes from a lack of production. Like, that's usually a side effect is when you're not producing. You don't want to shoot the puck. You want to pass it to somebody else, and maybe they feel more confident in their shot. So there's a lot of factors at play in here. But what I really like, and I think this is why Torts gets so frustrated after a game, after a loss, from a media perspective, we need to talk about the loss. Like, it's not the media's job to sugarcoat it. It's not the media's job to look at the positives. It's his job to look at the positives. And
Sure.
It's his job to tell us in the media what those positives are. And so when we sit there and say, what did you like about XYZ, or what didn't you like about XYZ that you want to improve, in your next practice tomorrow that you can take into the following game? And so those are the things where I feel like, obviously there's always this, I don't want to say friction, and it's not always, but there have been times that there is friction between John and the media. And I think a lot of it is like just a different perspective in how we look at it. Right. So the effort is there. The results are not there. They do not have a lot of skill. So they have to like muck and grind and loose puck find and just get the garbage goals, with the exception of like Travis Konechny and maybe Joel Farabee, who just got off this scoring skid. They are like the only skilled players. Everybody else, it's between the dots and below the hash marks. Like, that is where the Flyers need to be in order to score. So I feel like if they are continuing on the path of just like doing the work and doing the right things and focusing on the small details, then they put themselves in a position to be successful.
Yeah.
If they get away from that, if they try to chase the game, if they try to do too much, be too cute, it's not going to end well for them. They don't have that skill right now. They
can't outscore their mistakes.
That is 1,000%. You cannot outscore your mistakes. They just need to attack the net. The more they attack the net, the more they will find that the puck goes in the net.
Well, let me ask you this, because maybe winning this year is not. I'm not an advocate for tanking. They're obviously lacking talent and injured, that combination. And then you combine that with this draft class. Sometimes it's not that you stink in sports or you're bad. It's when you're bad, and the luck that you have when you're bad. You can stink and be in a crappy draft and really not get any return for being a bad team. But this year, that's different. This first round is different when you look at, obviously, Bedard, who we're going to see in the WJC, Fantilli on his team. You got Michkov, who may take a couple years to get over, not going to be in this tournament. But this draft is, if you're going to be bad, this is one of the drafts that it's a good one to not be great for leading into it, if your timing's correct.
That is very accurate. We talk a lot about like the 19-year-olds in the World Junior Championship, which is great. And I always say this is the future of the NHL. Oh, in fact, I have a fun fact for you. I was doing the math on the Rangers game and in Philly, and I'm just looking at the players on the ice, and obviously World Juniors is on my brain. I'm like, oh, he played at World Juniors. Oh, he won a gold medal. Oh, he scored in overtime to win the gold medal. So I decided to count. And I always say that the World Juniors is the future of the NHL on display today. And here is a perfect example of that. Of the 44 players that were dressed for that game, just the dressed players, not the guys who were injured or whatever, just the guys that were dressed. 30 of the 44 played at the World Junior Championship. 14 of them won a gold medal. 4 of them scored the golden goal to win the gold medal. And 2 of them did it in overtime. Mika Zibanejad did it for Team Sweden in 2012, and Rasmus Ristolainen did it for Team Finland in Sweden in 2014. So
some may say that's the last goal that Risto scored. He doesn't have a point this year.
I mean, it's not, but it's a funny joke. The point is that as much as we talk about the players that have already been drafted for this World Junior Championship, there are also, I think, 8 highly regarded first round picks for this upcoming draft that are going to be participating. You mentioned Bedard, you mentioned Fantilli. There's also Leo Carlsson for Team Sweden. You've got Dalibor Dvorsky with Team Slovakia. You're right. If this is a year that you're going to not perform well in the NHL, it's a good year. It's also a great year to watch the World Juniors.
Yeah, and because you're right. And for the Flyer fans especially, I mean, you're looking at Cutter Gauthier on Team USA. He's been playing center in the collegiate game. He moves to the wing here, and he is on a very good line. He's connecting with Logan Cooley and Snuggerud, and I expect him to have a good tournament. He had a couple good, play. What do they call those games? The
pre-tournament
games,
like exhibition games.
Yeah, he performed well in both of those. Team USA performed well. What do you expect out of Cutter Gauthier? That top line has got to be a catalyst for that Team USA team.
I agree. I think Flyers fans, A, should tune in, and then B, be excited, because Cutter is going to have a fantastic tournament. As you mentioned, reconnecting with Logan Cooley and Jimmy Snuggerud. I don't remember. I know Logan was on his line. I'm not 100% sure if Jimmy was at the National Team Development Program, but they were all on the same team and obviously have great chemistry. And what I love about Cutter is he scores. Like he's played 13 games for Boston College this year. He's got 16 points. 10 of them are goals. Like, he is a goal scorer. Now, he's not going to score like pretty flashy goals, but he is going to do the dirty work, play as a power forward, get to the net, and has the skill and the talent to clean up the garbage. So, we were kind of talking about that's how the Flyers need to play. Well, he's perfect for that. And the other interesting part is obviously there have been some comparisons to James Van Riemsdyk and how he played. And what's interesting is, as big as James is, and it's always been a knock on his entire career, is he doesn't really use his body all that much. Cutter does not have that problem. Cutter will ram you through the boards and essentially push you off the puck. So, that's the biggest difference, I would say, in the comparison. But otherwise, strong power forward, has the skill in close, has this like wicked top shelf backhander, like can really lift the puck, which is what you need in close. Like, you're not going to win too many battles against a goalie going low in close. So
they take away the bottom third every time. They default down. Yeah.
Exactly. So really excited to see how Cutter plays. He's obviously been on this stage before at different levels. And I love that he's being put in an opportunity to be successful. He was this close to making the team in August, but the spot he needed to play to be successful was not available, wasn't open. So rather than ask him to fill a bottom six role, they just kept him off the team.
Yeah, he's not a checking role player. Right. And so, putting him on that top line with other skilled players, it's going to be fascinating to watch. I mean, the D-corps is definitely led by Luke Hughes, who had an unbelievable goal in that pre-tournament. And, he's a big guy, obviously can skate like the wind. And he's a guy that could really, going to generate offense from that blue line for sure.
He definitely is. He's going to be back there with Jack Parrott, who is offensive on his own, not on Luke Hughes's level, but balances Luke's offense, because Luke definitely acts as a fourth forward more often than not, as you saw on that incredible goal that he scored in the pre-tournament game. So I'm very excited to see him. I'm also very excited to see him in the captain's role. We often talk about, comparing him to his brothers, Jack, Quinn. He has done so many things that his brothers have not. And I think it is so easy to like overlook those things. But it would be doing him a disservice. Luke is an incredible hockey player. And the funny thing is both Jack and Quinn, when they were, drafted, they said, oh, and then they were like, oh, there's a third brother coming. And they're like, yeah, he's better than both of us. And they were not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just putting it out there. They were not wrong. So he's a very exciting player to watch. He is incredible with the media. One of the few players who came out after their quarterfinal loss to the Czech Republic in August. He was hurt. So the fact that he was even hurt and came out to talk to the media is like very impressive. But also he's just so calm. And I feel like that carries into like how the team plays and how the team responds.
You want your leader to be calm. If your leaders panic, then everybody panics.
Yes.
That's why Cam York was a good captain a couple years ago.
Yes, he was. And he won a gold medal.
Yes.
That's the other thing. We joke, Michigan defenseman winning the last time USA won, a Michigan defenseman was captain of Team USA.
Yeah.
And now here we have another Michigan captain of Team USA. So we'll see if the trend continues. They're going to have a tough battle, though, because Canada is stacked.
Yeah, like they were a couple of years ago. you always look at Team Canada, you're going like, the guys they left off the team are unbelievable.
It's insane. Yes.
It's
like
crazy.
I was talking to the Columbus Blue Jackets were just in Philly, and I was talking to them about World Juniors and this and the other thing. And they have like 4 really good prospects that were left off their teams.
Yeah, that's insane. Like these guys are not used to not making a team, but that's the depth that they have every year. Is the weakness for Team USA in that? Couple undrafted guys.
I would say yes. Like Kaden Mbereko was the #1 goalie in August. That was almost by default. It should have been Drew Camesso. He opted out to prepare for his season at Boston University. I don't know. But the thing is with Kaden, he at least has that experience now. Yeah. And I feel like he grew through that experience and playing at that level, because again, like the benefit for USA Hockey is that they do participate heavily internationally with the Europeans. So it's not like the guys that they're playing aren't necessarily like new to them. That's why people always say there's so much hate at the World Junior Championship. Like there are definitely already instilled rivalries, and people are like, where did that come from? And it comes from incessant international play throughout the year. I mean, a lot of people focus just on the U18 World Championships, but there are several international tournaments throughout the year, starting at U17. So these players have already played together. I'm going to say 20 or played against each other at least 20 times.
Yeah.
By the time they get to the World Juniors.
Yeah. I mean, scar tissue.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there was even billboard material a couple years ago with Sweden wanting to beat USA because USA had in every level at every competition had always beat them. And they're like, oh, this is our time. And then they lost. So
yeah.
Not much.
Which brings us to Tyler Boucher, the son of Brian Boucher, 10th overall pick by the Ottawa Senators, playing for the 67s. And he's a guy that can throw his body around. He's a physical player. And I've texted Boucher and said, is your wife really strong? Because you aren't. And your boy, can blow kids up, man. He is a physical player.
Yeah, some would argue that is all he is. So
well, he's got points. He's getting points with the 67s.
Here's the thing. You only need one attribute that is NHL ready to give yourself a chance to be an NHL player. And if playing physical is Tyler Boucher's one NHL attribute, it will get him far because it is that good. So you're right. He has no qualms about hitting anybody. Unfortunately, he took out one of his teammates in the selection camp in August. Aiden Thompson was going to get his shot and had a nasty knee injury that kept him out for a couple months, thanks to Tyler. So I guess he has to be mindful of when he uses it. But he's a tough cookie. And what I do like about him is that, as you mentioned, he does have skills. So it's not that he's just a physical player. That is a huge component of his game. But he does have the skills. So if he does have the opportunity, but again, he's not scoring any pretty goals. They're going to be some greasy goals.
Yeah. Use that physicality to get down around the net and, pick up some loose change while you're there. Team Canada, when you look at their roster, I mean, we just talked about it. It's absurd. I mean, what they're able to ice with that roster. And obviously Bedard is the guy at the top of the list. But you have so many great players. Fantilli there as well. I mean, they're the odds-on favorite with no Russia for sure, right?
Absolutely. Like on paper, this is the thing I always talk about. On paper, Team Canada is always really good. But just because they're the favorite doesn't mean that they're unbeatable. So could they run the table and go undefeated to a gold medal? Sure. But there are other teams out there that can give them a run for their money. And I think it's going to be interesting because they are in what I would say is the tougher group, with Sweden especially. That New Year's Eve battle is going to be A+, likely for first overall in the division. The same for USA playing Finland on New Year's Eve. So the Canadians are really good, but that doesn't mean they're unbeatable.
But okay, let's talk about them in net, because if you're looking for an area where you may be able to exploit them, it's probably in net. And that's always their weakness because they're so stacked with their skaters.
So on paper, I would say yes, I would agree with that thought process. Here's the problem though. It's not a weakness to have a bad goalie, or not bad, mediocre. They're not bad. Have mediocre goaltending if your intention is to control puck possession.
Yeah.
So Canada's game is going to be not necessarily like a straight up offensive attack. That will be a big part of it. But their strategy is going to be tilting the ice, keeping the puck in their offensive zone so that you don't even have the chance. We say this all the time. You can't score if the puck isn't on your stick. So is it a weakness? Potentially. But is it a weakness that they have multiple weapons to overcome? Absolutely.
Yeah. If they own the puck, then it mitigates the weakness. And
correct.
That's what they're going to look to do. They're going to look to own the puck most of the game. The key will be for a team, if they can get in on them and really kind of, dictate the terms on the ice. That's easier said than done against that team.
You're going to need an aggressive forecheck. To win against Canada, you need an aggressive forecheck, puck pursuit, dog on bone.
Pump it deep.
Yeah. Get after the freaking puck. Border battles, win them. That is literally going to be the only way. Like, you're not going to be able to
outskill
you're not
them.
going to be able to beat them if you don't win those battles. That's the point.
I think the biggest key against that team is slowing them down in the neutral zone. If they come through the neutral zone as a unit with speed, you're dead. Because you're just never going to be able to collect yourself or them off the rush.
Well, not only that, you might be dead in the water, because they are so skilled that they may not even need to create that cycle, because they could literally just score off the rush. So that's going to be a big key in the neutral zone. I think we often always talk about like active sticks.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a big key to defending them in the neutral zone, is breaking up those plays, and then also not being smart enough to not allow them to get behind you. So.
Yeah. Well, if you get behind it, forget it. They're so good off the rush, and there's so much speed, and they play fast too. Let's talk about some of the international teams. You mentioned Leo Carlsson. Who of the international teams, the European teams, has a shot here to get into that gold medal game and see what happens?
I think Sweden has a lot of offensive firepower. On the years that they don't perform well, those are the years they don't have the offense. Mm-hmm. When they're wondering where their goals are coming from. This year, we know, and they're good. And it's going to be exciting to see. I mean, Fabian Liesel, you've got Isak Rosin, you've got Leo Carlson, Liam Ogren. There's a lot of firepower on the Swedish team. And that's why I say, like, they could put together a winning performance because they can keep up with Sweden, or excuse me, they can keep up with Canada in terms of speed and offensive weapens.
Yeah.
You know, they may not be as highly touted as the Canadians, but that doesn't mean they're not effective. So, there's one, Lech Karamaki. So, you know, like there's a lot of firepower on the Swedish team. And if you want to like pay attention to one guy on Team Sweden, I would pay attention, obviously Leo Carlson for the draft, but I'd also pay attention to Liam Ogren. He just scored his first professional hat trick with Djurgården, like days before he joined the national team. Big body, very skilled. He'll be an exciting player to watch. And then for the Finns, I would say the biggest person to watch on Team Finland is Aaron Kiviharju. Unfortunately, he is not draft eligible for another 2 years. Wow. So he is 16. I think he might turn 17 like during the tournament, I think. Or like maybe in like the past week or so, but 16. And defenseman, like, keep your eyes peeled for that one.
2 years to be drafted out. Wow.
2 years.
He is playing way early. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And the crazy part is he would have been, okay, so he was named to the team last December.
Wow. And he's 15 years old.
15. That's why I think his birthday is like right around now. I would have to double check that, but I think
it's probably right after the new year to allow him to
or
get
late December. Like I feel like his birthday is like today or something.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
But he was named 15 to the tournament last year. He did not participate in August because he was at the Ivan Halinka. Okay. And they didn't want him to like compete back to back. They wanted to give him a break, you know. So he's back. I mean, keep your eyes peeled. You're gonna like him.
What about
and then of
Slovak?
Course, yeah. Okay. So I forgot about the Slovaks and the Czechs. So the Slovaks obviously have Philip Meshar back. I'm forgetting who else is on the Slovaks. Adam Sakura got hurt in the pre-tournament games, so we'll see if he even makes the tournament. But he would have been or will be a big player for them. For the Czechs, they bring a lot of guys back. Yuri Kulik is going to be a big factor. He's with Buffalo. He's been playing with Rochester this year. And on defense, they have David Yidicek, who they were able to get out of Columbus, who's playing with Cleveland. So these international teams are not international teams. The Czechs and the Slovaks have a handful of players who not only are playing in North America, but are playing at the AHL level. So their game should be a little bit higher than the guys who've been playing in junior or over in Europe, which I think is going to be an added bonus, not only for their performances on the ice, but also how they carry themselves in the locker room and the leadership and their own belief in themselves. Yeah, so
they're pros now. They're playing pro hockey with men.
Yes. Yes. So, I think those teams are of interest. Another team that people probably aren't going to be talking about is Latvia. Latvia made the quarterfinals in August, and they were like by far the Cinderella fun story of the tournament. Now, they brought back 13 or 14 players. The one that's really missing is their goaltender. He was lights out. So we'll see if the new wave of Latvian goaltenders is on that level. If they are, they've got a chance to make some noise. I remember a couple years ago, I don't know if you remember, but a couple years ago, Denmark made the quarterfinals like 3 years in a row. And it was huge for the growth of the game in Denmark and the visibility of the game and also sponsorships. And so, I mean, if Latvia was able to make noise again and get into the quarterfinals this year, like that would be a huge, huge win for them. They're going to have to beat Switzerland at minimum in order to make that happen. But it's a possibility. In this particular group, it's a definite possibility. And then also the added bonus that Latvia is hosting or co-hosting the World Championships this year. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a fun time to be a Latvian hockey fan. That's for sure.
Yeah, it could be a good way with a good tournament here and then the World Championships to grow the game in Latvia even further, which is always awesome. Where can people get all your info during the tournament?
Just find me on social media. I'll be on Instagram, on Twitter, and I will be launching a YouTube channel with all sorts of content. You just look for my name and you will find it.
So on Twitter at Julie Robenhymer, Robenhymer. You can get all of it there, and she'll be linking everything up to there and everything. First of all, enjoy your holiday, enjoy
Thank
Christmas,
you. Same
and
as you.
and then enjoy your travels to New Brunswick and Moncton, and dress warm because there's a bomb cyclone.
Yeah, I've already like tried to sort that out. Now, the funny thing is this, I don't think it's going to be my coldest World Juniors. My coldest World Juniors was in Ufa, Russia, where I think the highest temperature during the day was 8 degrees.
Oh my goodness. Jeez.
Was a wee bit chilly.
A wee bit, yes. All right, Julie, thanks for doing this. Thanks for your second appearance on Bet Parks Presents Stick to Hockey Live. We'll have to get you on again, get a tournament recap and look at the prospects and everything as we get closer. But always appreciate your time. Stay well and enjoy the holiday.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
There she is, Julie Robenhymer. Again, follow her on Twitter and find her Instagram. It's at Julie Robenhymer, Robenhymer. And you get all of her great content and information there. And we always appreciate her jumping on Bet Parks Presents Stick to Hockey Live. Grab the Bet Parks app. It's a fantastic time to do it. All the college and pro hoops, all the college and pro football. You got the bowl games, hockey, and tons to bet on. Player performances, same game parlays, live in-game betting, you name it, it is there for you. Futures, easy to sign up, fun to use, faster to win than ever before. Do yourself a favor. Download the Bet Parks app today. Oh, you're going to love it. You got to be over 21, present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, I'm going to be talking to Torts in about 9 minutes' time to do a little interview for the Flyers pregame show and also for Flyers Daily. And there's a little bit of debate whether he was talking about Konechny last night or Frost when he said, I thought he was horrible until the end of the game. I think he was talking about Konechny, but we'll go through it and we'll find out. And I'll ask the source. But everybody, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you on Monday for another edition and another week of Hockey Talk on Bet Parks Presents Stick to Hockey Live. Have a great holiday, everybody. Stay safe. Enjoy family and friends. And we will talk to you next week on Bet Parks Presents Stick to Hockey Live.